Alright guys, it's JC the Sniper again. We're going to talk a little bit more about this whole color thing. And specifically this time, now that I've explained the whole conditional color scheme thing in the last video, we're going to talk about why you should live your life in condition yellow most of the time. And most people, like we talked about, like to walk around in condition white. Most people do, probably 95% of the time, most people walk around in condition white. And they only go to condition yellow if something's weird. So, you know, I don't think that's a good idea. And we're going to talk about that. First of all, walking around in condition white is just not very safe. You know, you may think nothing's ever going to happen to you, and, you know, for the most part, will you have to pull your knife and defend yourself? Probably not, you know, hopefully not, and we want to hope that you don't. Are you going to have to use your gun? Probably not. Most police officers don't even fire their firearm in the line of duty. So statistically, if you carry a firearm, you're not very likely to have to use it. By the way, this is safety cleared. Just so you know. So, you know, probably not very likely that you're going to need your firearm, or your knife, or even your fists in a fight. But what if you do? And the thing is, mindset is the biggest part of determining the outcome of any sort of situation like that. You know, if you get into a situation where someone's attacking you and you're not ready, you're not going to be instantly pulling out your knife, deploying it against that person, like you would if you've mentally prepared yourself for the situation. So, you know, say you're going to the mall, and you just go to the mall. I used this example in the last video, and you're just, you know, walking around in condition white, and you're just all happy, the world is great, skies are blue, everything's going good, and all of a sudden, bam, there's a guy with a knife, he's pulled it on you, and he's saying, give me your money. And you've just gone to condition white, to all of a sudden you've been forced into condition red by someone else because you're confronted with a fight. So your fight or flight goes into action. And now, you know, curiously enough, everyone has, you know, your adrenal system. Basically what happens when your adrenaline kicks in is you go into fight or flight mode. Now, what can happen to people frequently is, because we're not driven by instinct quite as much as, you know, critters and animals and stuff, when you will get that adrenaline reaction and you're confronted with a fight or flight scenario, oftentimes people freeze. They don't fight or flee, they just stop, because they're like, oh my gosh, why is this happening to me? This isn't supposed to happen. And their mind just can't handle it, and they just freeze up like a deer in the headlights. And you sit there, and the guy's got a knife to your throat, and he's saying, give me your money, and you don't know what to do. And you're like, suddenly the skies aren't blue anymore. And you pretty much are going to end up handing him your money, and if he intends you harm, he's going to harm you. And obviously that's bad. So we want to avoid that. Now, if you were in condition yellow before you got to the mall, as you're driving there, you're aware, and you go, alright, I'm going into an unknown situation. I'm going into a place where I may not necessarily, I'm not going to know the people around me. I don't know if that guy over there intends to wish me, you know, a nice day, or if he intends to harm me. I don't know if that guy over there who's walking towards me with, you know, the long trench coat on is just cold, or if he's got a gun under that coat and he intends to use it to kill a bunch of people today. And if you go with that mindset, then you'll be much safer, because if you're walking around like that and you see the guy with the trench coat, oh, look, he really does have a gun under his coat. You know, you see, wow, that guy's carrying a shotgun. Why would he be carrying a shotgun? There's no reason for that. Bam, you go to orange. Why has he got a shotgun down here at the mall? Now, you know, Maybe he's taking his shotgun into Dick's to have it worked on, or, you know, something, I don't know. Maybe he's doing something like that, and he doesn't want people to see it because he knows they'll freak out, so he's got it under his coat. Maybe that's what he's doing. Is that a good idea? No, it's a terrible idea. But maybe he's got a legitimate purpose for it. However, you see that and you say, that's weird. You go into Condition Orange. And now you're ready. If that guy pulls that thing out, I'm going to do something. I'm going to pull my gun out and I'm going to stop him. I'm going to take him down. And you're mentally prepared for that to happen. So now, if he does pull that shotgun out, or the guy over there does pull a knife on you and tries to take your money, you're ready for it. And you go, I thought something was weird about that guy, or I thought I might have to shoot someone today. You pull out your gun, bam, bang bang, 2 rounds to center of mass, done. Whole thing's over with, and you're living on another day. And you know, same thing with deploying your knife. If you're ready to deploy your knife and that guy, you know, comes after you, you got that knife out, you go to town on him. And you use brutal, vicious force in order to stop the attack. And you live to fight another day, as they say. So that's the advantage of being in Condition Yellow, is that you are prepared to, you know, do whatever is necessary. There's been countless examples of this. School shootings are a great example that I like to use. Being a Justice Administration student, we talk about these a lot. I hear about all kinds of criminal activity, but school shootings are one that whenever they happen, we talk about it, and we talk about past shootings. For example, my favorite school shooting ever. I know it sounds kind of weird and sadistical to have a favorite school shooting, but this is my favorite school shooting. So, school shooting. There's a kid named Kip Kinkle, and Kip is 15 years old, and he's just a normal kid. Nobody, you know, he's a little bit odd, he's kind of a little bit eccentric, and he's kind of a loner. But he's not a bad, he grows up in a good family. He's not, you know, he wasn't that, like, scary of a person, you know. It wasn't like he was you know, running around threatening to kill people and blow people up all the time. So you wouldn't think anything necessarily bad of him, and he turned out to be a school shooter. He lived in Oregon, and he, you know, he grew up with a normal family. He had 2 parents, he had a sister. Both his parents taught at the high school, in Thurston High School in Oregon. And actually, I don't believe they taught at that school. They taught at another school, but Thurston was the one he went to. So Kip kind of fell in with a bad crowd at one point, and he kind of got in some bad situations towards the end of his life, and started making some bad decisions. One of the things he did, he had a fascination with firearms, which is understandable for a boy. But he had a Ruger 10/22 and a Glock 19. He wanted another gun. His parents wouldn't get him one, so he bought one at school. He gets caught with the gun in his locker. Police arrest him, take him down to the station. This is a small town, you know, it's not a big place. So he, you know, they take him down to the police station. Police call his dad, and they say, alright, look, you know, we know you, we know your son, your kid's in here, he's been arrested, he's bought a gun at school. And they're going to charge him, but they release him to his father. So his dad comes and picks him up. His dad's fit to be tied. He's enraged at him, understandably, because the kid bought a gun at school. Bad idea. So his dad's upset, and he gives him a talking to on the way home. They get home, Kip goes upstairs, Dad sits down at the bar to eat a sandwich. While his dad's eating, Kip comes back downstairs with his 10/22 rifle, shoots him in the back of the head and kills him. Sticks the body in the bathroom or in the basement, I can't remember which. Waits in the window for his mom to come home, shoots her something like 6 or 10 times, several times in the chest, several times in the face, kills her, hides her body. Turns on Romeo and Juliet music, sits up all night, goes and gets in his parents' Suburban the next day and drives to school. He goes to the high school, not his school, but the high school. And he goes into that school with his Glock 19, his 10/22, a long trench coat, a duffel bag with like 30 clips for his magazines for his 10/22, and a whole bunch of ammo. Gets in the school, he's walking through the hall, comes upon two kids, one of them he knows. He goes, "Buddy, you better get out of here." And he says, "Why? What's going on?" Kip pulls out his Glock 19, shoots the kid next to him in the face, kills the guy instantly. And his buddy runs off, obviously, after that. He then goes into the cafeteria, which is full of students who are eating, pulls out his 10/22, and opens fire on a crowded cafeteria full of children. And this is where a tragedy was averted. Still a tragedy, but a major, major tragedy was averted by one person living their life in condition yellow. Basically what happens is Kip opens fire on this cafeteria. He strikes one girl in the head, I believe, and killed her pretty much instantly. So she dies, and he takes it. He just continues opening up on the cafeteria. Hits like, I think he hit like 20, 25 students somewhere in there, hit a bunch of people, kills the one. He's still shooting. He hits one guy in the shoulder, a guy named Jacob Riker. He hits him, and this kid was prepared, and what this kid does is amazing. He pushes his girlfriend under the table they're eating at. He jumps up and he tears across that cafeteria that Kip has been opening up on, tackles Kip to the floor and starts pummeling him. He's hitting him. Kip pulls out a Glock 19, sticks it in his face. He grabs the Glock, and he had some experience with guns because his father was in the military. He grabs the gun, tries to push the slide back in order to stop it from cycling. Doesn't get it back far enough to stop the gun from cycling. Gun goes off, blows off the tip of his finger because he grabbed it kind of like this. Blows off the tip of his finger, but doesn't kill him, doesn't hit him in the body, just in the finger. So he's now got a blown off finger, he's been shot in the shoulder. He keeps beating the snot out of Kip until several other people jump on top of him, and eventually 6 or 7 students were involved in subduing and disarming him. So they took his guns away, they had him on the floor, police show up, and they've got him subdued and, you know, under control. And basically that day, Kip could have killed every student in that cafeteria. He could have killed a ton of people, but instead he killed 2. One before he got to the cafeteria, one in the cafeteria, because that kid acted. Because somebody was in condition yellow, and Kip came through those doors, and they jumped straight to red, and they went to fight. Everyone else was locked up and cowering, and that kid did what he needed to do to stop that situation. Another situation more recently, I don't remember where it was, I don't remember the name of the guy involved, but there was a man came to a school with a bolt-action rifle about the time that school was letting out, and started opening up on people with his bolt-action rifle, shooting people. One of the faculty members took off across the space between him and the guy, tackled him, and subdued him until the police arrived and were able to take that guy. I don't think anyone died in that circumstance. Several people were wounded, but basically, again, another tragedy averted by one person aware of their surroundings and ready to do something. Also in the past, I've used the example of the Beordia Simmons case, who was a serial killer in Louisville, Kentucky. Killed 3 young women, said they were strippers or hookers, and you know, he was trying to get rid of them because he was such a great guy. And I'm going to have to go to part 2 and tell you the rest of this. So bear with me.